What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my new subs. Thanks for joining us today. I have a big one to share with you. This is the Gator by Vosteed Knives. This cleaver of a pocket knife, and I use the term pocket knife a little loosely here, has some big specs. We're looking at a massive 9.33-inch liner locking knife with a manual bearing driven 3.98-inch stonewash flat ground modified sheep's foot blade forged out of 14C 28N steel. The blade is 1.47 inches wide at its thickest place, and the blade is 138 thousandths at the thickest point behind the edge. The handles are made from exposed steel liners that are sandwiched in a forest green frag patterned micarta. Other color options include a black or blue scales in a satin blade finish, or this green or brown scales with the stonewash blade finish. Personally, I had to pick green because I prefer stonewash blades and because it's called the Gator and alligators are green. The pocket clip is minimal and reversible. Thank you to Vosteed Knives from myself as well as all the other lefties out there. The overall weight is a whopping 6.2 ounces. So the milling on the steel liners seems to be very minimal. Alright, let's get into some knife comparisons. So first off, we've got the Cold Steel Recon 1. It's about the same size. Next, we've got the Migron Valona. Beautiful knife. I love that one. Then we have the even more beautiful Max Ace Rock. They're all huge. Here is my Benchmade Bug Out. As you can see, they're very different. Alright, so let's talk about functionality, starting down at the business end. This knife is very slicey, and the edge came to me very sharp. The steel is, of course, 14C 28N, which is an amazing budget steel. You can check out Knife Steel Nerds if you really want to geek out about it. I like the hole deployment, though personally, the flipper hole could be a tad larger. Since I was blessed with fat-tipped thumbs, it's hard for me to thumb flick it with the size it is. But, I mean, for the majority of people who have regular thumbs, it'll probably be just fine. You can reverse flick it. You can flip the tab, you can light switch flick it basically, and then you can of course front flip, which is what I prefer because it's just so simple to do. This is definitely the preferred method. I mean, this knife it's got a nice big wedge up here that's just covered in jimping, as you can see. It's got all this jimping all over the whole thing, so you just pow, it's open. It works amazing. The detent's tight but not too tight. You can hear it. You can hear the hiss before the click. That hissing is the detent ball traveling over the stonewash finish, but you know, as you use it, it'll wear itself in, so it'll be fine. So as I said before, the scales are a green micarta. They're pretty nice. I would say that I like it because it's flush with the micarta, so the steel liners don't stick out. Kind of like how on this Migron, see how the steel liners go beyond the G10. Sometimes that works. If you can't really see it, it would work. Like on this knife, it's okay. But I don't think it feels that great. I don't think it really adds to how it feels. I thought it would feel more rounded because it had this rounded steel, you know, sticking out past the G10. But if you don't mill down the G10 scales, then it doesn't really, you know, help that much. So when they're lined up, when they're flush like this, and then the micarta is milled out, it just feels better. It's got, what, 4 body screws. Well, it's got 2 body screws that go to the spacers, the back spacers, and then it's got, you know, 2 screws on each side, one to hold in the spacer plate for the pocket clip and one to hold the pocket clip in, and then it's got the pivot. So it's not super minimal, but there's not a whole lot here. Unfortunately, they're all T6s and this is a T8. I mean, come on, it's 2023. We can be doing T8s and T10s. So what are my final thoughts? I mean, overall, this is an amazing knife. From the slicey 14C 28N blade to the well thought out design, really understanding what this knife is used for, which is work. It's a work knife. This thing is built to be tossed in your truck, use it on a job site, toss it back in your truck, hose it off when you get home. But just, it's a work knife. Just, you know, you go out and you use it. The price on this guy is $69, and that's on Vosteed's website. I have a funny feeling that once this goes to Amazon and starts appearing on Amazon, it's going to be lower than that. And the only reason I think that is because you can get the Migron Valona in 14C28N with the G10 and steel liners, and it's got a titanium pocket clip with the titanium pivot collar. You can pick up this knife right now for 50 bucks. And they're pretty much the same. I mean, obviously the shape's different, but the same basic idea. So once this hits Amazon, I bet it'll probably be between 55 and 60 bucks, maybe 59.99. Anyways, enough speculating. That about wraps it up for this one. Let me know what you think of the Vosteed Gator down below. Later, Gator.